How you doing? Mike Bubolo with Sony Electronics. Another exciting day for Sony with two new camera announcements. But what we're going to talk about first is the a6500. So the a6500 is an addition to the lineup, and what it does is going to give that advanced amateur, that semi-professional, or somebody who just wants the absolute best in APS-C camera, an addition to the lineup and a more robust camera. So, of course, the first thing that everyone wants to know is what's the difference between the 6300 and the 6500. So there's three main differences between the 6300 and the 6500. The first one being is that we are able to put 5-axis stabilization in the body of the 6500. So what we do in the A7 Mark II series, so the A7 Mark II, A7S Mark II, and A7R Mark II, where the stabilization, the sensor is stabilized, we were actually able to fit that in the 6500 without almost no difference in size whatsoever. So what does that do? We're going to be able to get 5 stops of stabilization. So you're going to be able to shoot at a shutter speed or an ISO that's 5 stops different than what you can do without the stabilization. And don't worry if you already have an optical stabilized lens, because a lot of our zoom lenses for the E-mount system are already optical stabilized. So what's going to happen is you're going to be able to use that stabilized lens in conjunction with the in-body stabilization to get amazing effects. So you're going to be able to get really still images, and it works just as well in video as it does in stills. So that alone is absolutely amazing about the 6500. Part 2 is that the camera incorporates the front end LSI, similar to what we announced on the A99 Mark II, and now we're incorporating that now on the 6500. So we're able to have the camera think really fast, process information really, really fast. And when I say really fast, I mean really fast. So the camera is going to shoot at 11 frames per second, just like the a6300, but the buffer is going to be incredible. So you're going to be able to shoot at 8 frames per second for 38 seconds. That's just ridiculous. So over 300 frames you're going to be able to get without the buffer filling up. So you're going to be able to sit there for 38 seconds and never have your buffer interrupt. So you're going to be able to never miss the moment, never have to worry about missing the moment, and it's just going to be able to be one of the best buffers in the industry right now. And what the third thing is that it does have a touchscreen. So Sony hasn't had a touchscreen on any of their interchangeable lens cameras for, obviously, since we came out with E-mount. But what's impressive about the touchscreen is that it's not cumbersome. So it doesn't work for every single thing. So you're not going to be able to go through the menu. You're not going to be able to do things. But what it's going to do is going to be a really nice, clean interface. It's a capacitive touchscreen that you can just touch to focus. So I can just touch to focus on something and it'll be able to focus. But what's great is that in video, I'm going to be able to move from one subject to the next just by touching both subjects, and it'll be able to automatically transition nice and smooth from one to the next. Or you're going to be able to touch a subject and then move it and slide it with your finger to go to one subject, and you can go to another. So it's going to be really a good implementation of, a really powerful implementation of touchscreen on a camera. There are other little subtle differences in the camera. The grip is a little bit more robust. It's a little bit bigger, so some people are really going to find it a lot more comfortable. The eyepiece, instead of popping off, it slides down. But other than that, the camera is still just as amazing as the 6300. Image quality is going to be very similar. You're going to have the same 4K acquisition that the 6300 had. And we can't overlook that because, again, remember, it's a full APS-C or Super 35. It's going to be no line skipping, no pixel binning, full 4K acquisition. One thing that's interesting too is that you're going to be able to grab stills out of your 4K video. So after you're done shooting, you can actually grab 4K stills out of your video, and they're just as good quality as if you took a JPEG during regular still mode. So that's the 6500. So remember, in-body stabilization, which is incredible, touch to focus, and an incredibly huge buffer that's one of the best in the industry, plus all the amazing attributes that the 6300 had, like 425 focal plane phase detection autofocusing points, the fast autofocus in the business, 4K video. It's just a really killer machine, and you're going to be able to essentially do anything that you'd ever want to do with a camera that is this small, this compact, and this durable. So that's it. Thanks for joining us. See you soon.